We're here at the entrance of Retreat to Eden Animal Sanctuary on the Southwell Farm Road. And we're going to chat to Retreat to Eden co-founder with his wife Lynn, Johann Wilhelm. Johann, how are you doing today?
Well, thanks, John, and you.
That's good. And there's one of your rescue dogs, huh? With
Yes,
you.
Hawk.
Okay. How long has he been with you?
A couple of months now.
Okay. And Johann, Retreat to Eden, it takes care of mostly dogs, but also other animals.
Yes, we do dogs, farm rescues, as well as wildlife, and we've got a wildlife sanctuary here too.
Oh, that's great. As far as like farm animal rescues, I've seen pigs here before when I've come.
Donkeys, pigs, horses, and bird life too.
Okay. Wow. And Retreat to Eden's been going how long?
We were registered first in 2005, but we were already working towards it in an unregistered capacity since the mid-1990s.
Okay. And you were originally living in KZN, right?
Originally.
Well, I mean, no, with Retreat to Eden, I'm talking about.
Retreat to Eden, yes.
Yes,
we started the work in
the first time you had an established
in Natal.
animal sanctuary
Yes.
was there.
Yes.
And then you moved, yeah.
Yes.
In what year? Yeah.
It was about 9 years ago now.
Okay. Yeah. I came out, and I can't remember how long ago it was. It could be as long as 9 years ago. Right? Yeah.
Time flies.
Yes. Johann, it's very quiet here.
Peaceful.
I mean,
Tranquil.
and that must have been one of the things that
Yes.
attracted you to this place. It's quiet. I mean, we could hear a bird chirping just now, but as far as like some insect noises, I mean, that's about it. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a real paradise for nature.
That's great. Now, the reason we're doing this video today is because just to, in case our readers and viewers don't know, we did a story in April, just more than a month ago, about a proposed mining quarry. And that's just the proposed area for it is just a short distance from where Retreat to
Correct.
Eden is.
Yes.
How far, Johann?
It's in that direction over there. It's on our neighboring farm.
Okay.
Where the tall trees are, that's our boundary.
Okay.
And then it's give or take 450, 500 meters, actually in a straight line from the center of our operation where we have all the rescues. So that is just a stone's throw when it comes to that type of industry. It's spitting distance away.
Yes.
Very concerning.
Yes, and obviously the noise impact is a major concern, because with quarrying there's blasting using explosives and drilling on like an ongoing basis. So you looked up something called low frequency noise.
Yes,
just tell us a bit about that.
In addition to the drilling and blasting, there's also a lot of heavy machinery that they're going to be operating to process the stones and to work the stones, and it's a real concern because it generates infrasound or low frequency noise. Also, the volume of that noise is of grave concern, but the fact that it's low frequency makes it dangerous. It causes anxiety and stress in animals, in humans too, but we don't pick it up as much as the animals do. The animals are a lot more in tune to it. That's why when there can be a thunderstorm on the horizon, you may not even be aware of it, but your dog starts freaking out and does all types of weird things and gets stressed out, and you got to go to the vet and get calming medication. Well, we've got around 60 dogs at any one time here, a lot of those dogs are in therapy or rehabilitation because of the traumas they've been through in their lives. And now you add something like this to the equation. It is a recipe for nothing short of disaster, and it's been proven by people who are far more qualified than I am, doctors and professors, that these low frequency sounds are not just the cause of stress and anxiety in humans and animals, but they actually cause physical harm, because those low frequency sounds cause vibrations on a cellular level which pounds the cells in the body, and it causes a cascade of health conditions and has been proven to cause death as well. Now this is going to be here at a place of healing, at a sanctuary, at a wildlife resort where it's not just the dogs, it's not just the farm animals, it's the wildlife too. And we have nature trails here. which are open to the public for environmental education and for the benefit of the public. And there's birding groups that come out, because the bird life here is spectacular. We are so blessed. And all of that will be gone. All of that will be destroyed.
That's right.
The animals who are able to move away because they're not restricted by the enclosures which the dogs are going to be trapped in with all the sound, they're going to just disappear. They'll move kilometers away, because the sound, low frequency sound, travels for kilometers. It's not just a couple of 100 meters and then it pitters out. It travels and travels, and wherever it travels, it'll cause that stress and anxiety and harmful effects on the wildlife, and they will just move away.
Yes, and another impact is dust. Obviously, wherever there's quarrying, there's dust. And so, what thought have you given to that?
It's a real concern, especially when we get the winds that come in from the east, the coastal winds.
Yeah.
Or even a breeze. It'll carry it all over here, and the dust will that the dust is harmful. If you breathe in that dust, it's very unhealthy. It's a grave concern.
Yes. Now, another thing that you've also thought about is a traffic impact. If there's heavy trucks moving along this road, and you've estimated maybe perhaps up to 10-ton trucks.
They'll probably weigh more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a real concern for me, and this is just because of my past experience as a paramedic. I used to be a paramedic, and I attended scenes where there were heavy vehicles involved in accidents, and it's horrible. The images don't leave your mind. What it does to a vehicle and the occupants of a vehicle, it's very traumatic, because often the vehicles crumple up like tin foil around the occupants of the vehicle, and now you can't get to them, and they're screaming inside. But you can help them if you can get to them, but you're trying to pull this wreckage apart, and it's just shredded metal and crushed vehicle, and it's traumatic for the occupants. It's traumatic for the responders to the incident, and then you're stuck waiting for equipment to arrive that can literally cut the vehicle up and open the vehicle up to get at the people. And if you've got a heavy vehicle that's on top of that vehicle, you've now got to try and extricate the people from the wreckage and get the heavy vehicle off without harming the occupants. And there's a lot of medical matters, medical related conditions, which I won't go into, but it's hugely traumatic, and the loss of life is a very, very clear and present risk, danger.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a very real concern about heavy traffic being on this road that has not been here before.
Correct.
Okay, and potentially not only in one direction between the entrance to what will be the quarry site and the R72. That's one possible direction.
Correct.
But you say they also could be traveling in the direction of Grahamstown, in that direction, and then also down that road there that we see in the distance, which is where does that lead?
This road heads. This road does end up going through to Kenton on Sea.
Okay.
It's the road that goes via Sibuya.
Okay.
So depending on where they get calls for material, there are 4 potential roads which are going to be affected. It's the main one from Port Alfred through to Grahamstown, and this is actually quite a shortcut to Grahamstown. So it would make sense, if they need material in the Grahamstown direction, that they would take this route.
Okay.
And then the other route that they could potentially take is the Barville Park turnoff, which is 2 minutes down the road.
Okay.
And it turns off to the right, and it heads through to, drops you out at Kasuga, and it's a shortcut. And then of course the road straight down to Port Alfred. So possibly the mining company might run a grader over the road once in a while to make some gesture towards maintaining the road. But the damage that these heavy vehicles are going to cause to the road is going to be significant, and I'm left asking the question, do I want my family's life and my life and any visitors' lives to be at risk for the sake of maybe getting a road graded? I would choose a pothole over a heavy vehicle smashing over a vehicle any
day. Yeah, but I mean, okay, having the road graded was not part of the background information document, no. Which you shared with me, which had all the pertinent information, I guess, in summary form, yes. From the consulting engineers, who are called Algoa Consulting Mining Engineers, ACME for short, who are doing the impact assessment for the mining company, which is called Danoher. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm just saying Danoher, maybe Danoher Contracting Eastern Cape. They the one who's had the expression of interest and actually submitted an application already to the Department of Mineral Resources, right? Yes, yeah. And you found out when that this application had been submitted, Johann?
The first I became aware of it was when we received an email. I'd have to check on the date, maybe a month or two
March,
ago.
In March sometime?
Somewhere there. I received an email with the document, basically saying to us that they've identified us as an affected party.
Which I imagine they would have sent to all neighbouring farm owners, yeah.
Correct. And that we are welcome to fill in the form and register as an affected party, which we did so, and I provided a statement including all the documentation which I'd managed to come across from these professors and doctors related to the low frequency noise and the catastrophic effect it's going to have here.
Yes, yeah, you like went ahead and told them right off the bat your concerns about this project, because I mean, in such an application, in an impact assessment, there has to be a public participation process, and I mean, concerns like yours would be raised at that, but they've already got yours in advance. Tell me, have they replied to your written submissions yet?
I've had no response, not even an acknowledgement of the email.
Yeah, that's a bit concerning. But we've heard nothing more about when there might be such public participation meetings happening. We haven't heard anything. All I've seen is this background information document, which speaks about where exactly this quarry would be located. They give the actual geographic coordinates on a portion of the farm Walsingham, which I imagine was once a big farm around here, and other farms are now a part of the yes. farm that was called Walsingham. Yes. Yeah, and there are obviously other livestock farmers in the area as well, right. But we don't know how they feel about this because we haven't had like a meeting to get people's input. But I mean, we don't know officially how neighbouring farmers, like maybe a cattle farm down the road or a chicken farm nearby, would feel about this. But just testing the water, have you had any feelings about what people feel about a quarry in their neighbourhood?
I'm under the impression, I haven't got anything in writing, but I'm under the impression from talk in the neighbourhood that there's one or two farmers who are not too enthusiastic about it. There are a number of the local farmers and residents in the area who seem to think it's potentially a good idea because the road might get graded.
Yeah, which is not stated in that background information document. They don't hang that as a carrot there. I mean, that might be something that's just said to like maybe make people feel better that because there's going to be heavy trucks traveling along the road, they'll grade it or resurface it or something. But the only thing that the bit information document says, this quarry is for the local economy and possibly also for road construction in the vicinity, and the proposed quarry will therefore contribute to the local building and construction sector in and around Nlambi municipality. So that's the stated purpose of this quarry, and they said a side benefit will be employment. There's an interesting will be employed. I know that's always a dangling carrot that they'll create jobs, but as far as the road goes, that's neither here nor there. It hasn't been stated yet. Yeah.
Look, from my perspective, and this is just my personal thoughts, I would far rather see these opportunities being given to existing businesses in the Port Alfred and the Grahamstown area. There is an existing quarry, Mooifontein Quarry, in the area.
Yes, people are very familiar with that quarry, yes.
Wouldn't it be so much better to support local business than bring in an outside business?
Yeah, is it really needed? Is the existing quarry not meeting demand? I don't know. I mean, and there's one in Grahamstown as well.
Correct.
You say there's a quarry in Grahamstown.
It's my understanding that the Mooifontein quarry is more than able to supply the requirements, and there's the Grahamstown quarry as well for anything on this side.
Yes.
That could supply, and that would benefit those businesses, and they've got people working for them who have families and livelihoods, and it's only fair that they be given the opportunity, I feel. But that is not my.
I know that's
that's to make.
Yeah, I know. That's just how you feel.
Feeling.
That's just how you feel about it. But you've stated your own concerns. I mean, which are legitimate. You're allowed to state them. Johann, can we walk up the track to Retreat to Eden, just to give an indication of the kind of work that you're doing with animals, rehabilitating dogs, some formerly working dogs, meaning they were security dogs, police dogs.
Correct.
Maybe even in military use.
We've had military dogs come in for rehabilitation, and this is all with a view to giving them an opportunity of a chance of life, because when dogs are retired out of service, it could be because of age or physical disability, but in many instances the dogs that come here are because of emotional or psychological issues, because of traumas they've been through. Humans suffer PTSD, post-traumatic shock disorder. Is that
stress disorder?
Stress disorder. Now, we're seeing a very similar thing with the working dogs that have been exposed to a harsh working environment. And just like our war heroes, when they come back from the battle lines, the front lines, they're given the opportunity for rehabilitation. How much more so shouldn't we be doing it for the dogs who haven't been asked and haven't consented? They've just been taken into the industry and they've served humanity. Surely we owe it to them to give them the same opportunity, which is what we strive to do here. And because of the traumas they've been through in their lives, it's going to be an absolute disaster if we've got blasting and drilling and heavy equipment operating here that creates all that stressful infrasound. The noise levels might pick up a bit now because we're going to be greeted by a multitude. We've got about 30 dogs on the front enclosure here.
Okay.
And they're all going to come running up to greet us.
All right.
That's another concern we have. When there is heavy noise from equipment, what ends up happening is the dogs become anxious and they start barking.
Okay.
So we're going to have this greeting that you hear here now is happy barking, but we're going to have stressful barking and response taking place all the time.
Yes.
So that's a real concern for us.
Also, one thing I noticed in that that bid document, the bid document said somehow sound from quarrying, from drilling and blasting, rises up into the air rather than on a horizontal plane. Now, I didn't quite understand that, but they're saying because they're at a higher elevation, people who are lower than them won't be as affected by the noise. But your elevation compared to the quarry site, what is it?
We're slightly higher. So if their argument is true, then the quarry site is going to be in a straight line in that direction, about maybe 450 meters. It's going to start there. And the sound, if it does migrate upwards, it will follow the lay of the land up to here. And there's no geographical barrier. We don't have a range of hills between ourselves and the potential quarry site. So there's nothing to stop that sound coming straight here. But over and above that, from the research that I've been doing, it would appear that low frequency sound is very good at traveling over distance and penetrating shrubs and bushes, and healthy, well, I wouldn't, maybe healthier infrasound is used by animals such as elephants, and they're able to communicate with each other in the Kruger Park over many kilometers. Now this is going to make a lot more catastrophic infrasound and much louder infrasound than an elephant makes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right here on the doorstep.
Yeah. Well, let's have a closer look at. Okay, this is obviously the dog sanctuary is the first thing that greets you.
If you go too close, they are going to make a lot of noise.
Okay, but also you've got an enclosure for a couple of donkeys and horses, or
yeah, we've got a number of. Come, guys, quiet. we've got quite a few donkey rescues from Grahamstown and horses. We've taken in other farmyard rescues too, and they're all the retreat to Eden has got the initial area here for dogs, and then an area at the back for more dogs, and then we've got the high-risk enclosures. Now the high-risk enclosures is we do a lot of the rehabilitation work, and that's right on the boundary line, which is right next to where the quarry is going to be. And then beyond this, we've got the nature area, which is a wildlife sanctuary, and we've got nature trails there for birding and for nature, and that extends right the way down to the little Kawi River, and all of that is going to be traumatized by this. And the work is going to be undone that we're trying to achieve.
I must say that they're pretty obedient. When Lynn was telling them to keep quiet, they actually quietened down. And I thought, with this many dogs, it's hard to get them to quieten down, but they certainly do. You must have a special touch.
Thanks.
The dog whisperer.
It's a lot of work, but we're blessed for it.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, you just introduced a new rescue today.
Yes, one arrived just shortly before you came, surrendered from an area just beyond Port Elizabeth. They brought her through.
And you never know how it's going to go with the rest of the dogs until you do it. Is it going to be difficult or is it going to be easy?
It can take 3 hours to do an introduction. It could take 3 weeks. It all depends on the dog's psychological and emotional state of being, and which comes back to creating a tranquil, peaceful environment, because that is critical for the rehabilitation process.
Johann, after I published this initial story, I hoped that members of the public would come forward and at least speak to you, if not to the newspaper. Some may have sent their concerns directly to the consulting engineers. I hope they have, but I haven't heard. But I mean, as far as a response from townspeople, especially people who support Retreat to Eden, have you heard much?
I'm aware of one formal response, one letter that was sent through, and that's from a gentleman in Bathurst.
I think I know that one, because I think he CC'd me in that.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm not aware of anyone else sending letters in, but we it's absolutely critical that we get public support to put a stop to this.
Yes, and that's what we hope this video does. I mean, that it prompts people to be interested, to be concerned, if they agree with you, that this would impact the work of Retreat to Eden. I mean, some people might not agree, and I mean, they might not be persuaded. But there are others who might think you've got a valid point about the noise impact, especially low frequency noise, and the associated dust impact with quarrying. I mean, especially when you're right next door. You literally are right next door. So hopefully people do pay attention. I don't know what it is. There's like a certain amount of apathy in town, to when things arise like that. But if people were concerned about shell drilling off the coast, shell and the seismic vibrations they use to find oil wells or gas deposits off the coast, because we saw a fair amount of resistance to that nationally, but also in Port Alfred. I mean, people came and did a demonstration on the beach there and made a writing with human bodies, as saying "to hell with Shell," because that became a popular slogan there. They cared enough, and that was something remote and distant. This is right here. And I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people in this area know about Retreat to Eden and know about the work you do. So I mean, I would have thought there would have been more expressions of solidarity with you up to this point,
We're hoping it'll come.
Okay.
Their lives depend on it.
Yeah.
We need the public, we need the community to stand up and to stand with Retreat to Eden on this. If this mining operation is approved, it is going to be an absolute catastrophe for this wildlife and animal welfare sanctuary.
All right. folks, you can address your formal comment and objection to there's the address. Oh, there we get, yeah, okay. Algoa Consulting Mining Engineers, and that's the name of the relevant person. His name is Rudy Carver, and that's his email address. Any expressions of interest, like as an interested and affected party, any comments or objections up to this point, because we've heard of no public meetings yet, but that's what you can do at this point. And also, if you want to find out more information from Johann, you can contact Johann at Retreat to Eden.
Correct.
So yeah, hopefully more solidarity is to come there, Johann.
We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say? Kind of summarize it all, eh?
Thank you.
This is actually a short conversation for Johann. I just want to let you know, of the conversations I've had with Johann, this is very short. Okay. I'll just give a glance of the entrance to Retreat to Eden there. We won't start the dogs barking again, but just so you can have a parting view there. All right, bye.